Easy-Peasy Hopper is my favorite hopper pattern. And the reason I like it is because it's quick and easy to tie. You know, very often when people tie hoppers, they over-engineer them. They spend a lot of time getting feelers on and knotting legs and all sorts of things. And I guess it's because it's fun tying hoppers. But when you've got to tie 100 for your friends going to Lesotho, that becomes a problem. So, this is the hopper I've settled on. Very simple to tie. You need a streamer hook. I've got a partridge streamer hook here. A heavier gauged wire hook. Why? Because if it's too light, what will happen is the fly will land on its back. No good. You need some dry fly foam. I use lava lace dry fly foam. Some elk hair for the wing. Rubber legs. And a little bit of dubbing. And the thread I'm going to be using is a Danville's 70 denier flat unwaxed thread. It's important you need a thread that lays flat. Why? So you don't cut the foam. And you also need a bit of a thicker thread for extra pulling power. Let's tie the fly. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a thread foundation on my entire hook shank. And the reason I do that is to seat materials properly. If I don't do that, I'm going to have stuff swiveling around the hook shank whilst I'm fishing this fly. So this just makes it more durable. It's a good habit to get into, irrespective of what you're tying. To the end of the shank, cut off the excess. Boom. Okay, now I'm going to use a little permanent marker to mark out the proportions on this pattern. And this is quite a cool trick, especially for people who battle with proportions. What I'm going to do is 1/3 I'm going to reserve for the head of the fly. So I'll just mark it there. Now wait, a little bit over there. And the remaining 2/3 I'll divide into 3 sections. Okay, so you just mark it there. Okay. Now I'm going to take a strip of foam and I'm going to, on the ends, just taper it slightly. I'm going to use a lighter and I'm just going to do this. Pass it through the flame and just shape it. Right, let's get that a bit better. Get a nice taper going. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to tie it in 1, 2 wraps and pull nice and tight. Okay, lift the foam up and then go to your first mark, making sure that the thread is flat. If you need to untwist it every now and then, do that. Lay it down and nice and tight. Bring the thread up. Right, get to the mark. Again, 2 wraps and pull tight. Last body section, pull tight, and there you go. Perfect. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my elk hair and put it in a stacker so I can align the tips. Cut that. Very important. See that underfur there? Just get it out. I use a dubbing needle or my dental pick to do it with. Put it in the stacker. Okay. There we go. Flap bang perfect. Collect the hairs. And now I measure it. I measure it over there. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually cut this off right over there. And I'm going to tie that on. 1, 2 wraps. Hold the hair tight. Don't let go. And pull. Another wrap. Important. Make a locking wrap under the butts of those hairs. Like that. And then let go. Okay? Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this foam here, stretch it slightly, and I'm going to pull this over, like this. Make sure your thread is flat all the time. Okay? And I'm going to just tie that in like that. Okay? And then, I'm going to cut this like that. Okay, the next thing we do is we take our rubber legs, and you need a leg on each side. So you need a leg on the far side, or legs, should I say. Legs on the far side, legs on the near side. Okay. And look at the fly from the top and make sure the legs are equal length. Hind legs. Front legs are good. Now what sometimes happens is, look at the angle of the legs, okay? If I want to get a wider angle, there's a trick. And all I do is this. I take a little bit of dubbing, okay? I dub the thread, okay? Between the legs, okay? Add a little bit more dubbing. And this is the kicker. No pun intended. You pull these, okay, let me just dub it properly. Boom. You pull these front legs forward and you dub just behind the leg in front of the head, or behind the head in front of the legs. And what that does is, it increases that angle between hind legs and front legs. Okay? You can just play with them. And then all I'm going to do is, I'm going to whip finish. Do this, hold the legs out the way, like this, just whip finish, cut the thread. Okay, and another trick. The carapace of the fly, okay, I like to just shape it and make it a bit neater. You don't have to, fish don't care. But I like to do this. I heat up a scalpel, just like this. And then, I just dab it and melt this foam slightly, just to round off all the edges. There we go. And that's basically the Easy-Peasy Hopper.